Hi guys, our garden's doing great, and now it's time to start canning some of our produce so that we have it in the winter months when we aren't able to grow fresh squash, tomatoes, cucumbers, etc. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a squash relish recipe. I've already shredded up or diced up 8 cups of yellow squash, 2 cups of onion, and 4 bell pepper, 2 red and 2 green. In order for this process to work, I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of canning salt. It's very important that when you're canning that you use canning salt instead of table salt. Table salt is iodized and it changes the flavor of your product when it's going through the cooking process, and then as it sits in the jars, sometimes it will make your liquid cloudy. That's just one of the things that my grandmother taught me. I don't remember a lot. I remember some, and that's one of them that just kind of stuck to me. Today I'm using Mrs. Wage's canning salt. You can use any brand that you like. This is just what was available in my area. So what the salt is going to do is it's going to pull the moisture out of the vegetables. It smells really good. Out of the vegetables, and so then you're left with mostly the actual vegetable part and not just water, and it will have a better texture. So once this is all mixed up, I don't have a colander that's large enough, so what I took was a pasta pot and then put some cheesecloth in it, and this is going to sit for an hour while it's pulling all that moisture out. I'm going to let this sit, and then when we come back we'll finish the rest of the process. Hi guys, welcome back. It's been about an hour and I have the squash and pepper and onion mixture in this pot. It is drained. I have 2 cups of apple cider vinegar and 2 cups of sugar with 2 teaspoons of celery seed and 2 teaspoons of mustard seed. I'm going to put these in a pot and bring them to a boil. Be careful when you're heating vinegar. If you're standing over it, it's very powerful as it starts getting hot, and it can cause you to choke and cough and sneeze. It's better, just a caution. So I'm going to bring this to a boil. And then we'll add our squash and peppers and onion mixture. I wanted to let you know that we're on a small lot in a rural town. We don't live out in the country. We don't have a lot of acreage, and we're doing this in our backyard. So anyone can do this. If you're interested in gardening, you don't have to have a super large garden to can. It comes in a little bit at a time. These are the tomatoes that just come in the last couple of days. It's not enough yet to make pasta sauce or salsa or anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blanch and peel them, and I can show you that process as well. And then I'm going to freeze them until we have enough to put together to make a batch of either salsa or pasta sauce. Beans and peas the same way. We're letting them dry out so that we can shell them and dry them completely out and put them in bags and store them for use. Zucchini doesn't freeze very well. It's kind of a watery vegetable. If you shred it and put it in the freezer and then you defrost it, it's going to be really squishy, for lack of a better term. It's better to go ahead and make zucchini bread, and you can freeze that. Peppers, you can pickle them. It's a very easy process to pickle peppers, and when we have enough, I will do that process for you as well. Other things too, there are things that grow in your yard naturally, as long as you're not using pesticides on your yard. You can can from there. This year we made honeysuckle jelly from the honeysuckle vine that grows on our back fence. And they're just, you know, all kinds of things. When you're canning, you don't have to make large batches of things in order for it to be successful. This year, so far, I have 1 jar of beets that I've pickled, and that took 8 beets to do that. So it just gives you an idea of what you can do in your backyard, and what is, and it's just fun to experiment with what you can grow and what you can do. The other thing is too, don't grow what you won't eat. If you're not gonna eat it, don't waste your time, your energy, or your money on something that you're not gonna eat. The other thing is you can, squash vines and pickle cucumber vines tend to produce large quantities, just 1 or 2 vines. We have 2 cucumber vines and 4 squash vines. And so far I've already made 6 jars of sweet pickles and out of the cucumbers, and we have more every day that are coming in. If someone has a multitude of another vegetable, maybe y'all can swap. It just makes an easy way to get what you need and have what you have on hand, what you need to can. So I'm letting this come to a boil, and while it's coming to a boil, I'm going to bring my jars out. I've had my jars in my oven at 250 to sterilize them. They are hot. Now, to finish this process, you're going to need a funnel, a jar lifter. I usually use a butter knife, but this little tool came in this set. You use this to measure the distance of your product from the top of your jar, and then the other end you can use, like I use my butter knife, to let air bubbles out. So let's go back over here to the squash. And I'm just waiting for it to come to a boil. So my squash relish is now ready to be put into the jars. And I'm going to use my funnel. Try not to make too much of a mess. I don't know how many. I did extra jars just in case. You never know. I'm going to do a couple small jars. And the size jars really just depends on how much you think that your family will eat once you open it. If there's just 1 or 2 of you, then I would do small jars. If there's 6 of us that eat here, so we tend to do the larger jars. And then if you are going to be using I'm just going to the bottom, top of the jar. I don't want to touch the jar because it's hot. So I'm going to right here where this lip is. That's what I use as a measurement. Put a little liquid in this one. It's a little dry. Now, I want y'all to know that this is not a how-to video. This is just me sharing a recipe with you. And this is how I do it, and what I remember, bits and pieces, and I've watched on YouTube on other channels. Feel free to use the recipe, but you follow your preferred method of canning. Sometimes there's a little left. You just use that for tasting and making sure. Now, remember to use a hot pad because your jars are hot. And you're just going to use a clean cloth to wipe the rims. If your rims are not completely clean, they won't seal. And so it's real important that you make sure those are clean and dry. Take your lids, and we're just going to put them on finger tight. Again, hold them with that. And all finger tight means is that it's just on tight enough with your fingers. You don't have to have a wrench or anything to tighten them down, because you want to be able to open them easily. Alright, now it's time for them to go in the water bath. I'm going to process these for 20 minutes. Your water bath water needs to be warm when you put your warm jars in. And the warm water should cover the tops of the jars. If your jars are cold and you're putting them into hot water, they can break. So you just want to be very careful about the temperature of your jars and the temperature of your liquid that's inside. They should all be warmed. Warm when you start putting warm liquid in, warm when you are putting them in the water bath. Okay everyone, it's been about 20 minutes. So we're going to carefully take our jars out. Now the water likes to sit on the top of those lids, so be careful lifting them out so you don't spill hot water on yourself and the jars just a little bit. So as these jars cool off, the heat will dissipate and a suction will be created, and it'll suck those jars down, and you'll hear them start to pop. And once like that, once they pop, you know that they're sealed. Now a good seal stays flat, okay? If it's not sealed properly, the lid will bounce, and that's not a good sealed jar. And you don't want to eat that if you pull it out of your pantry and that jar is, that lid is loose. So today we made squash relish. If you are interested in this recipe, we're going to have it in the description for you. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any suggestions of anything that you would like to see me can, or have questions, if I don't know, we'll certainly look it up and ask around and see what we can find out. Just wanted to follow up with you on our squash relish that we canned the other day. All of the jars did seal. They did very well. And we've actually already eaten a jar and given a jar away. So that's how quick it goes around here. So just a reminder, we used yellow squash, bell peppers, and onions out of our garden, and wanted to show you what it looks like. It's kind of a sweet relish. You could, instead of bell peppers or all bell pepper, you could add spicy peppers if you wanted a hot relish. It's good on black-eyed peas, beans, hot dogs, hamburgers, pretty much anything you would eat pickle relish on, you could eat this relish on. You can also use any kind of squash, I think, would make a good substitute if you don't have yellow squash. We're going to put the recipe in the description down below. If you like this video, please give us a like, subscribe, and comment below and let us know what you thought and what other recipes you would like for us to do.